Hello, Trailblazers, and welcome to another edition of Entrepreneur Journey. I'm so happy to have Chris Baden with me today. Chris Baden is going to share some really powerful stuff with us and tell us a little bit about his story. But without further ado, I'm going to let Chris tell us a little bit about himself, and then we're going to dive into some getting to know you questions.
Yeah, I've learned to share certain stories about myself, and I've been told, Chris, just talk about these things. Those are actually interesting. I was like, oh, okay. So anyone that knows me knows I'm thinking about one of three things at any given moment. It's building a lifelong marriage, world-impacting family, and multi-million-dollar businesses. So, and for me, my worldviews and faith, they're like, oh, shouldn't God be number one? And I was like, I laugh at that. And I was like, I've had different thoughts on that. For right now, it's like, well, God is number one. He's also number two, number three, number five, number 100, and 1,000, because I kind of want him a part of everything that I'm doing. So I
love that.
Need him there. So that's kind of been my perspective. Those are some of the values. So if you like any of those things, this will be really great content. I'm about to pour out my heart here, and we'll see where it goes in terms of business. All the things that I've learned. I've been employing myself and others for the last just over 10 years of my life. I've built 3 different companies in 3 different industries in the last 6 years. All of them did at least $1 million per year in sales or more. I'm currently working on my 4th, and it is by far bigger than any other project that I've been a part of. Our team is bigger, stronger, smarter, and happy to share numbers or whatever detail serves the audience, Doug.
Nice. I'm anxious for this interview because we've talked already a little bit, and I've gotten to know you a little bit, but I'm anxious to learn so much more about you. So, the first question is not based in reality at all. So, how well do you feel like you would survive a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, I would crush it, Doug. I'm just kidding. That's great. I'm the worst prepper ever. Because I do have my CCW. Of course, zombies. I always think of just all kinds of ammunition and food and some type of bunker. And I need to make friends with a lot more Mormons. They seem to be really sneaky at prepping. They have like all these secret tunnels and different places. Some of the Mormon friends that I have. So maybe I'll get some tips from them. Maybe you have a bunch since you're leading with the question. But if we were to flip a switch and I had to defend myself now, I would be placing a lot of orders on Amazon or I don't know. I need to make some big adjustments very quickly. I'm not prepped at all.
I'm not prepped either. I just I just thought it'd be a fun question to ask. And I know you have some skills that we'll get into in a minute that might help you with a zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
So speaking of kind of that, what do you do to keep fit?
American Ninja Warrior. So the obstacles I've been so I competed on the show for 3 seasons. It was a season 3, 4, and 6. My wife was actually in a season as well. Since she's a lot more attractive than I am, she was actually like they aired one of her runs. For me, I was just on some of the promo stuff because I like hung out, met some of the producers, and they're like, "Oh, we're doing some extra." I was like, "Okay, cool, I'll jump in." But that required me to go to a certain point of the obstacle and fall. So it's like on one of them, like I hit the salmon ladder and then I transitioned to the next one. I'm like 15 feet in the air. They're like, yeah, just go like halfway through, the like hanging, swinging ball jungle thing and then backflop from 15 feet in the air. And I was like, okay. So I did it.
So you want me to fail?
Yeah, because it's like the dramatic. Yeah. So I'm on NBC slow mo. Nice. That's my moment of glory? Question mark. No, it was a really. It's just a fun way to move. Your body. I've done martial arts, all different types of sports. I got a Division I golf scholarship in college, and so I'm big believer in moving your body. It's like one of the first things I do when I wake up in the morning is just go outside. Just get out of the house. Go outside. Well, it's cold. Just get outside. And I'll just go walk. Maybe it's half a mile. Have some space. Just start moving my body. Maybe hit some burpees, push, whatever. Just something. Always keep moving your body, mentally, emotionally. There's just such a powerful connect. I mean, aesthetics is always a big part of it and matters, but it's probably number 17 on the priority list for me as it, pertains to like moving your body as a value.
Do you still play golf?
Strategically, Doug, strategically. Okay. I I played it, every day basically for 10 years. It was my job. I got paid for it, played in some other amateur events and met with PGA players and tour players and looked at going pro and decided not to go that direction. And once I graduated college, for the first 3 years, didn't touch a club.
Wow. You're just,
it was just, I was really burned. And I realized I have a love and appreciation for the game. It's a very good game. You can learn a lot about somebody by playing 9 holes with them, and yourself. If you want to do a quick checkup, just go play 3 holes real quick, and you can pay for a counselor. You can just go play 3 holes of golf.
Yeah.
And so it's a very revealing. It's you against the course. And there's no pictures on the scorecard. It's name and number, and it just tells you so much so quick. So I a lot of respect for the game, but it was a vehicle that helped me accomplish a mission. And it was more about the mission than it was the game for me. So when the mission was accomplished, the game was done. I've since kind of rehabbed myself and learned how to appreciate the game again. It took a lot of years, honestly, because it was such a job and I'd get so angry and frustrated. So anyway, I'm in a better place with it now. And so if people want to just go out for fun, or I go with my dad, or, maybe we're networking or connecting or something, it can be a great pastime.
I'm not going to stay on the golf thing too much because I'm terrible at golf. I love the game, but I'm terrible. But do you find it hard to do it as for fun now? You're still super competitive?
I'm good now. I'm good now. Yeah, but it's taken a decade. So there's that.
Nice.
It's for the first 3 years, I was like, I know I can't touch this because I'm not training, and what happens out there, I'm just going to be upset. And so but I eventually learned to just, I bogeyed, or, I 3-putted, or it's like, okay, I don't need therapy. I'm going to be okay. I can breathe through it. It's like, I can let it go, but it did take a long time to kind of rewire my brain for that.
Nice. Last getting to know you question. If you were ruler of your own country, what would be the first law that you introduce?
Damn, that is. Here's the best way I know how to answer that without thinking about it too hard is you say country, I'm going to go to company.
Oh,
because of culture. Miles Monroe is someone that I think does a really good job at, leadership and culture. It's a person I've liked to learn from. He's been, he's deceased at this point. Unfortunately, he passed in a plane crash, but he was called on by prime ministers and country leaders of all country, whatever the title is. He's very qualified and has an interesting perspective. And so one of the top values is love. I think it always comes back to love. Why you're doing what you're doing, who you're doing it with, how you're serving them together, and on who you're serving. And it's not, now I know I'm talking about love, and there's warm fuzzies and, oh, that's cute, Chris. And yeah, there is that side of it, but love doesn't always necessarily feel good. Sometimes it's having those direct, honest, and respectful. Oh, I'm just being honest. No, you're also being disrespectful. And so the love and respect thing are very high non-negotiables for me. In fact, for FlowChat, the current software company and project that we're focused on, in our team dynamic, earlier on, there was fortunately, it was a very small issue. I'm not going to go into details just for speed. It's just not, crazy interesting, but the takeaway and culture and what I would do as leading a country, I'm giving the context of, well, I'm leading a company now, and I kind of view it the same. And I think this would be valuable for people to hear is, it was a very small issue, but there was like how it was communicated. I was like, see, as long as I'm in this company, that's not going to take place. And so it took me a couple days, though. I was very uncomfortable and didn't sleep for a couple nights. because I needed to process this. It pushed a button. I needed to process it in a way to where I could at least, empathize. What does it feel like to be, the other person? And how do I communicate this message with love and respect so I don't violate the very thing that I'm trying to communicate?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the fun takeaway. It went fantastic.
Nice.
And what I knew earlier on in the company, I was like, no one's going to see this or hear this. But this moment right here, I'm almost more proud of than some of our quick, sales growth metrics, because the health of our company is going to pay way more dividends. And if you've built enough team and business, you're like, it's always the people, and it always comes back to love. Is there enough love in the culture as we team up together to go take on all the market? Because the market is aggressive and will kick you in the balls, and for lack of a better way of saying it, not even blink or care. And that's not even evil or bad. It's just the way it is. And that's part of the journey of, fighting to go put yourself out there and serve other people, with excellence. And so that person responded, and here's how it went. He said, I've actually struggled with this for years. It's hurt me in other businesses. I've been treated this way in my family growing up and I've read books, I've invested all this, and I don't know how. And I say, you know what? I don't know how to do these things. So you can help me there, and you can lean on me for this. And so we're very early on able to open up a different level of honest and respectful conversation and communication, and so where we could grow together. And that's that's wealth. Wealth is just an idea. Wealth are the relationships that have not been formed yet that you are forming and building. I say building a lifelong marriage. There's my wife saw it. Of course there's some flesh and emotion and all the stuff there, but it is largely, probably more than 50% a commitment and a decision than an emotion. And so wealth is an idea that is it's something created out of nothing. It's not an imitation, it's creation. And I feel like my creator created me to create. And so I'm building wealthy relationships and healthy relationships and putting together IP and tech that did not exist in the way that we're putting it together before. Wealth is being created, and man, it's a fun, awesome journey, and it is scary and exhausting. And oh my God, are we going to make it? We're going to make it. Are we going to make it? Oh, we're going to make it. It's nuts. So I totally get why, people do it, and I totally get why people don't do it.
Yep. You got to love the roller coaster. You gotta love being on it.
Yep. Very humbling, both sides.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and give you an award for the best answer to just a getting to know you question. Deliver the most value on just a getting to know you question ever.
Thanks, Doug. So I never know how these are gonna go. It's like I do my best to be very mindful of. I know we're talking about entrepreneurs. Hey, people after my own heart. I've been running the thing for 10 years. I like to think I'm still, in the earlier stages of my career and got way more years ahead of me and a lot to learn still. But I've lived in the space enough to hopefully I'm like, okay, well, here's what I wish people would have told me. So
nice. And I love the whole thing about the way you're developing your company culture. That is really, really cool. So let's dive into your entrepreneur journey a little bit. Tell me a little bit how you got started. I think you mentioned earlier that you're onto your fourth company at this point. Can you kind of give us how you started and the kind of like the clip notes along the way?
Yes. So I started in sales, and I'm still in sales. The end. I'm just kidding. So I started in B2B commission only sales. Payment technology industry, and you're like, well, what's that? That's exactly what I said when I started. Credit card processing. So I was in local chamber of commerce in BNI, which is Business Networking International. It's a networking group. It sounds like you're familiar.
Yeah, very familiar.
In case not every listeners. So I was 24, never did sales. I don't fit the sales like persona and all the personality tests or whatever, but yet here I am in commission only sales still. Now I'm just commission only for my co-founders and for partners and team and marriage and just more people. Right. And so that shifted the very direction of the rest of my career. B2B commission only sales. I was a W-2 employee at that point, but I was like, Doug, how much money do I want to make? And I was like, 100 grand. That sounds like a good number in a year. That sounds like, it's more than my friends right now. The friends that I didn't come from money. I'm blessed with good parents and they've, done well, but not money.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I've built, I've self-funded all my businesses. Never loans, never money from any other entity. It's always been created from customer and service of customer. And so sales taught me that in the beginning. And my second month is what shifted everything. What happened was I was working 70 plus hours a week for the entire month. And you know how much money I made, Doug?
You want me to guess?
Mm-hmm.
It's either going to be something extravagant or zero. So I'm going to go with zero because I can't guess a higher number.
Grateful was fortunately it was greater than zero, but it was $800.
Oh wow!
And so I watched over 40 people come and go, and I totally get it, and I hated it too. But it was a quality company, Fortune 900 company. But it was just sink or swim, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I hated it. But I was like, I'm not leaving till I win. And so it's fight or flight. And for me, it was fight. It's like, I hate this and I will leave, but on my terms. And that's just more how I'm wired, good, bad, right, or wrong. And so I felt like I was going to vomit every single day for the first 8 months. I'm going to these networking events. I'm like, hold on a sec. I'm commission only. Now I'm going to like BNI and local chamber of commerce. I'm supposed to find all you jokers referrals and build your business. Like, I'm trying to eat. Like, I'm trying to get married and buy a ring and pay for a wedding. And, hey, do you want to live with my parents? Isn't a good pitch. It doesn't work. Like,
right.
So I got problems too. And all you guys are like 10, 20 years older than I am. Right. And so this is kind of the thinking, but obviously that was a very quick thought. And I started investing in BNI and in different memberships where everyone else was paying. So lesson number one, surround yourself with other people that are paying and are serious too. And so I got a return on both of those networks my first year. And I started then getting referrals, and I learned how to shake hands and look somebody in the eye and show up the next week and still be, I say be friends with them. Were we all friends? No, but like we respected each other. Right. And so my brand, if you will, my name began to grow. And so that was really hard because it took years to build that. First year, it was 26K on the tax return and change. I'm a round down guy. Okay. 44K and change the second year. My third year, I'm walking into my condo and I stopped right before the front of the door, and I was looking at my tax return, and it said 107K and change. And I was like, my first thought was like, holy crap. I was 27. I was like, holy crap, I did it. Second thought is just like, I'm still broke. And the third thought was, why the hell did I pick 100 grand? Why didn't I pick 250 grand? If that's how this works, you just pick a number and then you just go get it. Then why did I pick 100? See, so it started introducing different thoughts, right? And that shifted things for me, Doug. I'm not like, man, I joke with people, but there's some truth to it, which makes it funny is, Doug, this would be so much easier if I was smart. This would be so much easier if I was talented. And it's not to, like, to give some merit to myself. Like, I work hard, I've learned, I've applied myself, and it's not that I'm valueless.
Can I stop you just for a second?
Please.
And ask about that? Because I just did an interview with someone else, and a lot of it was about the positive self-talk, right? And so what I'm hearing you saying is part of you was still having that negative self-talk, right? And I don't mean to pause your story, but can you talk about that a little bit?
Self-doubt, self-belief, your perspective of yourself, all those things matter. They have merit, right? And so, I would view myself as somebody that overall has, a positive view and
Mhm.
of love and appreciation or respect for who I am, and not only what I've done, but I think more what's in me, and what's still to come out and contribute to the world. But man, it's like the self-doubt thing and the journey of that. There's the external journey and there's the internal journey. And that internal journey, the hero's journey, it's like, that's why we all like watching stories and movies, because it's like, I feel that and I'm like struggling with that right now. And it's all those real things. Like, I don't know if this is encouraging or not to people listening, but that never goes away. It changes, but it never goes away.
Yeah, it gets that label imposter syndrome, right? And I think no matter how much positive self-talk you give yourself, it's going to rear up every now and then. As your environments change, as things change, there's just different things that make that come about again.
Here's the best ibuprofen for self-doubt, in my experience. Focus.
Mm.
If I talk to somebody that's doing $1 million a year in sales in their company, if I'm talking to someone that's doing 10 million a year per year in sales in their company, if they're doing 20 or 50 or 100, I've listened to so many interviews, and I'm still in masterminds. Like, I'm around plenty of other entrepreneurs, like they're my people. Like, and so I don't, yeah, it's a blend of, oh, we're friends, but there's like, entrepreneur AA, and it's like all this,
Yeah.
So all this being said, I can listen to him. I was like, I know roughly how much you're doing in sales right now.
Mm.
Because of how they talk. But this is exciting, Doug, for everyone listening, because you know what they are? They're patterns. It's not like character matters, skill acquisition matters. Never stop developing both. It's like, like you talk about your max potential. Your business will never grow to your max potential. It'll only grow to the max capacity of your systems. And so there is execution, there is implementation that does matter. But you know what that crap is? Freaking patterns. So when you go talk to the person that's doing 10 million a year in sales in their company, it's like, well, what systems and patterns do they have? Those. Okay, well then just go build those. Well, is it that easy, Crit? Yeah, it kind of is. Well, have you built a $10 million company yet? No, I haven't. Not $10 million in 1 year, but I will. And not that might not be the goal for everyone, by the way.
Right.
Goals
Yeah.
matter, right? My goal, our goal is to do 2.2 million in sales this year. We haven't even done we haven't even existed for a year yet, right? But we've sold for 10 months, and we're quickly approaching the 7-figure mark. And so anyway, you got a business cycle. We go into some more details there, but it was a good question. And when I listen to focus is the ibuprofen. Where are you at now? What is the next step? And the focus gives you permission to ignore all the noise and the thought. And sometimes that's your internal self-doubt.
One more quick question for the entrepreneur journey side of it. So from the 4 companies, when did you know you wanted to do the next thing?
That's a good question. Let's throw some context on this. Because like a specific example. So your question is, when do I know to go to the next idea or the next company?
Mm-hmm.
Let me give one filter that I use. It's because I mean, there's always so many ideas that are tempting or whatever, but I know how expensive they are. And so I know who I want to be and where I'm going. It's like we're building a company that will have a $50+ million valuation by the end of 2023. And I understand how much we're going to be doing in sales to accomplish that. I understand our growth rates. I understand our retention rates. I understand EBITDA. And I don't even, if you don't know what these words are, it's okay. I had no clue either. But I'm obsessive. I will listen to I'll look into the market. So I'm in SaaS, I'm in software right now. So I looked into the SaaS market. I looked at what companies are being sold for right now and what their valuations are, how those are even constructed. I just reverse engineered what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, so focus matters. And the question is, how do I know how to shift ideas? To me, it's like I've done everything I possibly know how to do, no rock unturned, and it blew up. like it fell apart. I'm like, okay, I don't have a choice anymore. I'm moving on. Because what I can't deal with is sideways thought.
Mm.
I don't have I don't have the mental and emotional capacity to go fight 100%. And I think to solve one problem with excellence, it takes all you got. People are, man, Chris, you refer a lot. I'm happy to refer. I don't have enough capacity, energy, patience to solve more than one problem. It's too expensive to do it well. Oh, I do this, I do this, I do that. I do one damn thing. And even in the one damn thing that I do, I only do one part of the one thing that we're doing. So because the people that listen to that focus ultimately, serves everyone around you better. So I like to exhaust all options to that gives me the clarity, right? Of, do I stay here and work on this, or do I move on?
Nice. Wow, so much value. There's a lot to pick out of that you can.
A lot of thoughts, yeah.
A lot of good things. So now I want to dive into FlowChat a little bit, and talk about that for a minute. I'm a big ads guy, right? I'm a big proponent of ads. Ads work still. For those of you that may doubt that ads still work, but they do still work. But I'm also a proponent of organic. At my agency, we do organic and we do ads. So I think what I found with FlowChat is like the best, like to take your organic strategy and put it on steroids. So can you talk a little bit about FlowChat and the power that has?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so FlowChat is a sales tool built by sales professionals. It turns your likes into leads. It turns your content into calls. It's the thing, like if you're needing to book more calls, if you're looking to acquire more ideal, high quality clientele, FlowChat is absolutely something to look at. How do I know this? Well, yes, I'm biased because we're building it, but before FlowChat was FlowChat, we were building and using FlowChat. Here's what I mean. We were selling our own high ticket group model mastermind, and it was 25 grand. It's currently closed, right? But in selling this, we're like, how do we do it? To your point, Doug, do we do paid ads? We are heavy and organic and love it for all kinds of reasons, but I'm an and thinker. I love all things that bring me new quality customers for, a 1 to 2, 1 to 4 ratio. Meaning if I spend $1, I get, at least 2 to 4 back. That's the ATM machine, my friend. Let's roll. Yeah. They're paid ads. I love paid ads. It's organic. I love organic. Yeah. Like I'm not, so just to be clear, but should we start with paid ad? We don't know. We were testing it. Like, I don't know how this is going to go. We know we're going to get people results, but we don't know how our marketing and the market's going to take to it. Right. Then we thought about podcast tours. We thought about challenges and summits and funnel, all the different things we could do. We're like, what if we just talk to people? So we just started messaging people, and we had a Google Doc. So we had DMs, we had a Google Doc. And we wrote over 100 grand in business in the first 6 weeks. And we're like, oh, DMs, you can actually, it works. Yep. Right. And so we put a spreadsheet in place, and then we got to, let's track and let's keep scaling this. And then, so we did. And then we started looking for software because it was freaking manual and clunky. And we tried 9 different softwares, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. Like, this isn't solving my problem. And so we built, again, it's that all in obsessive. I was like, anything worth doing is worth doing well. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. And so we started learning how to do this well. And we built what is now known as FlowChat. And so it manages our DMs. We're managing thousands of conversations on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on now Telegram, on Discord. Depends on what market you're in. Listen, all I care about is attention and where the buying and sales process is happening via DM. Okay, FlowChat helps accelerate that acquisition process, right? And so we have all different types of flows. We got Facebook group flows. We have LinkedIn weekly webinar event flows. We have referral flows. We call them flows. They're like pipelines. They're DM direct message conversations that are happening. But really what we're doing is we just find all of the buying patterns on the social platforms, because listen, I love branding, I love marketing, I love content. I have helpful, valuable, profitable thought on that, but I'm a like my skill set has been built in sales. FlowChat is a sales tool. You might have been posting content for years and maybe you're getting all these likes and you have like hardly any deals. I'm the guy that we wrote 100 grand in business by the time we had like 30 people in our Facebook group. People are like, well, I have 0 people in my Facebook group, and well, people will see that and they don't, you don't know how to frame it then. Because we know how to frame it in a way where it's like, it's cool that there's not a lot of people in there and it's not just another Facebook group, it's exclusive and here's what we're accomplishing. And it's like, whoa, I want to be a part of it. Okay, great. And so we are like, I'm the sales profit guy. Like the longer someone listens to me, the more money they make. And it's not like an arrogant statement. It's like, well, Chris, you better freaking produce that result for yourself and others because you've only thought about it every day for the last 10 years of your life. Yep. So anyway, I know I'm going on heaters over here, Doug. I'm just trying to, drop as much value as I can, and hopefully there's at least one gold nugget in there for somebody listening.
Can I ask something that wasn't on the question sheet, but
whatever you got,
I want to ask you because so there's a lot of people that are not about the outreach, right? And a lot of times it's because they've tried it and it didn't work for them. Can you tell, like the people that say, "Oh, you got to do attraction marketing, right? You just got to put your content out there."
Yes, which I love to. Yeah.
You. There's a good element to that. So can you talk about I'm sure there's a right way and a wrong way to do outreach, right? So can you talk about that a little bit?
Thank you for asking. It's a really good question that we need to hit on because I'm not an or thinker. I'm an and thinker. I know I kind of stated it earlier. So if it's like, oh, it's attraction market, it's about this, it's about that. Listen, like I'm not here to say my stuff is good and others are bad. I don't think that way. I think here's my goal. What are the best tools to go accomplish that? In your context of the question you're asking. So by all means, do attraction marketing. It only helps. When it comes to outreach, here's what people need to know. People hate cold. They hate the lack of love. They hate the lack of creativity. They hate the lack of intelligence. And when I say people hate, I'm saying the people sending the freaking messages and the people receiving them. Nobody likes it because they're cheap. They're cheap ideas and they suck. But what I will tell you, this is important. I'm going to speak to, solo, just starting out entrepreneurs. And this is a really big point that I'm also going to share for other entrepreneurs that are further in their journey and also understand that the product and service that they're selling is not their only value, but the company that they're building is actually their greatest asset. Okay, so I'm going to speak to the two different stages. In the beginning stage, outbound is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And if I don't know how to reach out to people, I don't know how to say to lean in to that part of your business and don't come out until you have a good answer. You feel whole, you feel full 100% conviction or integrity. If you cannot go through that and survive, there's other ways you can navigate and play the game of business, but I'm telling you, it is one of the most fireproof, best ways to start a company. And the reason I've started all of my companies from nothing, and I've either done it myself or partnered with other people that are smarter than me. As I got smarter, I found other people that are smarter than me. Okay. It will change your conviction level and I can go win in any industry. Doesn't matter. It does not matter because I know how to do that one thing. My now 5 and 4-year-old have their own business. My 5-year-old started his first business when he was 3. I helped him build a pitch. We went door to door, and yes, it sucked and felt uncomfortable. And there's like this is a whole other story, Doug. I'll come back and share this one. They make $30 a month and they have their own business. And I brought them, not friends and family. They don't go to the neighbors that give sympathy money because I didn't make up how the world works and that's not how the world works. Okay. So I bring them to the cold market people we don't know. Listen to this, all entrepreneurs. I go to the cold market first. Why? Because they're the most honest. Why? Because they're the most honest. They'll tell me I suck or they'll tell me I'm great with voting for me with their credit card fast. And what I care about is speed. I don't need feelings in the beginning. I need answers. I need feedback. And cold, maybe I don't get any responses. That's really good feedback. Maybe some people are unfortunately a little bit upset today. It doesn't mean I approach them cold. right? I approach them with intelligence and love still, meaning, sorry, Doug, am I doing okay over here?
You're doing awesome, man.
Okay.
Just a waterfall of value.
Okay. This is really valuable I like hope if you hear one thing, lean into cold market. Let me give you a couple, and then I'm going to address the more further along entrepreneur, right? Lean into the cold market. They're the best copywriters. They're going to give you all the right copy, all the answers to the test to convert your ads, to convert everything, and everyone's scared of it. And I'm telling you, tell them to shut up and just go, like, stop being scared, or just go home. Like, and here's how we can lean into it. Okay. We using FlowChat. Let me be very specific. I was talking to somebody yesterday and they want to talk with insurance brokers. And they actually, no. This one's even more specific. It'll be easier for people to hear. It's talking with a accounting firm, and there is a specific tax rebate and credit that they're helping restaurants with. Okay, accounting firm. They do a lot of things like all of us, business entrepreneur, right? But one specific product that they're focused on with the campaign is they're offering a tax like credit refund program or something specific to restaurants. Right. So how do we approach restaurants? Well, we can go by cities, we can go by states, we can find other restaurant agencies or organizations where they all congregate. And we can go to different Facebook groups or ads or pages or all these different things. We can import all the likes, we can import all the members. So all of our people are exactly who we talk to. And because that one's so direct, now it's cold, it's saying, hey, I noticed your recent post on this. Just a valuable reminder. You can actually get this with by just doing XYZ activity. Wow. Like, it's very specific value. It's very like, thank you for taking the time to understand me, understand my world, understand what I care about. So I'm very big on, we've got it. People say, bring value, bring value. I say, be interested. That's good, but be interested. Be interested. Take the time, do your homework. Don't spam people. You know why? Because everybody hates it, including you. And because you hate doing it, you're going to stop doing it, and you're also going to get no results with it. I have full conviction. I know who I'm serving. I know how to approach them. I know how they think. I know why they don't, why they hit the alarm clock in the morning to snooze, or they don't, and they get up early because they're on fire. I understand how to actually get them from here to here. And if I don't know, I'll go to DMs and I'll message people and I'll just ask. I'll do market research until I know that they just start telling. I'm like, man, and I'll hey, I just talked to Joe, and he's a restaurant owner. He mentioned he was struggling with this. Is that something you've been struggling with too in the same area? Oh my God, yes. Right. So there's a lot of thought there. I really want to encourage people to lean into outbound. It gets a bad rep because people suck at approaching people because they're not approaching them with intelligence, creativity, and love. And if you need more ideas, I do this all day, every day. And what happens is you feel good in reaching out, and you start getting a few responses, and they're actually good back. And then you're like, oh my God, I just got more clients. Actually, it was so good, I closed more deals. Now they just referred. I got 4 referrals this morning. Emails, boom, 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 boom. But people can't help but talk about some of the things that we're doing, because I know I've listened for 2 years on this specific thing. Anyway, hopefully this is serving somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm a big proponent of listening to your market, and you're driving that home for sure. So awesome.
Yeah, the tangible way is go find them in specific areas and interacting in certain ways and catch them right there, because it's so fresh and relevant. It's like cheating, Doug. It's so, once you understand the right skills and process, it is cheating, but you're doing them a service because you're approaching them in a way they want to be approached. You're treating other people the way you want to be treated, and it works.
Awesome. Well, thank you for delivering so much value, Chris. And I do want to mention that Chris is also going to be doing a demo of FlowChat for the members of Entrepreneur Journey Group. So make sure that you check that out, and you'll learn a little bit more about how FlowChat operates. So be on the lookout for that. Chris, where can people find out more about you, more about FlowChat, et cetera?
Good place to go is flowchat.com, FLOWCHAT, flowchat.com. And it has like a little overview video there. Hopefully it's encouraging for people. That's a landing page. We don't even have a website with this stuff. You know, we'll do $1 million probably by the time we finally get a website, right? So if you only have DMs, things become possible. Another great resource is our free Facebook group. So it's FlowChat official community, just as our Facebook group. And we're constantly putting content in there. Sean, co-founder, he sold over $100 million worth of product and service. He's doing 2 or 3 sales tips per week now. And actually he's been doing that for over a year. There's over 200 videos he's done. So you can check our FlowChat YouTube channel. There's a lot of content there too. Those are some resources.
All right, awesome. We're going to put those links below the video and in the show notes. Yep. So be sure to check those out. Any parting advice or anything for our entrepreneurs before we depart?
I'm fascinated by people, by musicians, by athletes, by high performers, by entrepreneurs that are willing to put themselves out there and be vulnerable. Not once, not twice, but day after day after day. And I'm in a craze, just completely obsessed with understanding why people do what they do and how they tick. And so I would encourage everyone to stay curious and ask those questions internally too, because alignment is probably a simple way to sum all that up. When the more aligned you are, the more fire, the more energy you'll be able to contribute to the world, and the more that comes back to you. And it's just like this, it's just this fun, crazy journey process. And so if you feel stuck and know that that's normal, know that you're not alone, know that that's okay. But also know that you're gonna find these pockets of alignment, and you know what once felt impossible will already be completed, and you'll be just as surprised as everyone else. And but it's such a fun, crazy way to live.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. And until next time, entrepreneurs, keep blazing your trail.